Hi, everybody, and welcome. We're here in the 12th lesson, the last lesson. This is the first learning block, so you have one more after this. But in this one, what I really want to talk about is how we can make data normal. One of the things we've been doing in this course is we introduced a lot of concepts, a lot of ideas, both in Head Start Data Basics and then early in Head Start Data Essentials. Then we really got into a lot of examples, practical, what are people doing around data. But there's a big piece of building data literacy, data capacity, and helping people to see data in a transparent and open way, which is to get past this obstacle of data being something strange, something weird, something unusual. We want to make data as normal as we can. And when we do that, we always want to remember that for most people, in most places, in today's world, data is not normal. You hear the word and you kind of have an idea of what it means. And if you're in Head Start, you have some idea of what it means. Most people have an idea of what it means. But data can actually be scary because you think about data in lots of different ways. And remember that both us and the people that we work with in their children and families, data can be scary. It can have a lot of negative consequences, especially because around policing and a whole series of other things that are really big issues in poor communities, which is where our families and our children are coming from. Data actually has been used in some ways that have, at best, mixed results and sometimes outright harmful results. So data can be scary. This is especially true for marginalized communities, and poverty being a measure of marginalization. That's everybody that we work with in Head Start. It's also true in the workplace. So it's going to be true for our stakeholders and also true for all of us because we're hearing, oh, data, data, data. And we hear horror stories about Amazon warehouses and places that, whether they're true or not, give us this image of data being used, kind of weaponized against the people working there. Now, Head Start is challenged because we are in the middle of this big transition. So we're stuck in the middle with you, as the old song says. Data literacy is just emerging in Head Start. And this doesn't mean for you sitting in this class, that's a class trying to help build data literacy. I mean everybody in all of Head Start, from the top of the office of Head Start all the way to the family advocate on a home visit. We're all still learning data literacy. Data literacy is emerging. Staff are learning. Staff are being trained. It's new. Everybody all across the board is learning it at the time. So we're all in the middle of this transition while simultaneously experiencing it with everybody around us. So staff are engaging with families who are going to be a little uncomfortable with data, who don't necessarily have good experiences with data, while we're also trying to get comfortable with it ourselves, because we may not have a good impression of data, good experiences with data. So we're kind of in the middle of this big, complicated mess to some extent, as we try to make all these things happen. So how can we make data normal in a world in which we and our stakeholders and all the people we're working with are still learning about data and how to use it right? Well, one of the ways we do that is we start simple. Start where you are. Use little bits of data as a way of making people more comfortable. Make it as relevant as you can. Pick data that matters. Pick data about relative development. If a child has a developmental delay, use the information to help explain how that works and how being an engaged advocate for your child later can help. Make the data as relevant as you can. This is that anecdote and element pairing and storytelling that I'm talking about. Make it safe. Make data a tool that isn't a hammer that's going to bonk someone over the head. Make it safe. Make data something that can be helpful and beneficial, or at least neutral if you can't do that. And make it a team effort. Make it something that is a two-way engagement between yourself and others. This works with stakeholders within your organization as well as children and families. Building buy-in is a big part of this. Make data about helping people. When you talk to peers, when you talk to parents, emphasize that data can be used to help people, and share the larger vision in Head Start that you've been learning about in this class and in Head Start Data Basics, of how data can make things better if it's done right. And to the extent that you can, always practice transparency. We're talking about oftentimes data with children and families. So you have to be aware of privacy. And part of being a responsible user of data and part of data literacy is respecting the privacy of individuals' data. Part of that is, yes, you want to comply with all the laws, but also when is it inappropriate to share certain kinds of information, even if it were legal to do so. So practicing transparency to the extent you can is important, being open and honest. And again, this is within your organization and with the stakeholders in your organization. Be patient though. Everybody is learning together. Everybody is. You are here in Head Start Data Essentials. You just took Head Start Data Basics. You might be taking this class with your boss and your boss's boss, and the executive director might be in her office taking the class at the same time. Everyone is learning about this at the same time. It's new. It's not going to be perfect. There's going to be mistakes. There's going to be challenges as you go. That's to be expected. Focus on making improvement over time as you build your data literacy, as your organization brings data literacy more and more into the skill set for everybody in the organization. One of the biggest things that you also want to do here is ask for help. If you're being asked to do things around data and you're not really sure what's going on, ask about it. Be constructive. You don't have to be hostile about it. You can definitely ask in a very constructive way. And especially if what you're seeing is there's a decision-making process that might miss important parts of the workflow because the people are just disengaged from it. Your organization may or may not have easy pathways to do this. If you're a small organization, everybody knows everybody. It's easier than if you're a gigantic organization and the person making decisions might be 4 levels up the chain and 6 slide silos over from you. It might be harder to do, but try to find pathways to do that, to ask and to say, I'm not sure about this. Think about those examples where one of the big improvements was just putting a guidebook together so everyone knows exactly what to do. If you don't have one, that's a really easy quality improvement project. A good, easy, early ask. One of the biggest things that we're trying to do as we really focus on these kinds of things is build a community of people that are comfortable working with data. To do that, we want to make data as normal as we can. I want to get past this world in which data scares people. And I want to do that partly because it'll help us build better programs, but partly too, the more we can actually engage with our families around data and show them that data can be a tool for them to advocate for their children as the children get older, that's something we really want to do. So yes, it's going to make our programs better. Yes, it's going to make the lives of children and families better, but we have to help bring it in and make it normal for people while we're working on that.